Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode what companies are really saying with a wink and a nod. Today we're diving into Stewart Information Services Corporation's latest filing, and let me tell you, it has got some interesting moves that point to some serious shakeups in their business. Stewart Information Services Corporation, a big name in providing essential services for real estate transactions, has been busy. This report isn't just a dry collection of numbers, it tells a story about how they're strategically positioning themselves in the market. We're talking about a significant public offering and a substantial acquisition that could reshape their future. Stick around to find out what all this means for the company and for you as an investor, or just someone interested in the corporate world. So what is the big news? Stewart Information Services Corporation, or as we'll call them, the company, is making some major financial moves. On the 10th of December 2025, they entered into an agreement with Goldman Sachs and Company LLC to sell a large chunk of their common stock in a public offering. We're talking about 1,900,000 shares initially, and they even gave the underwriters an option to buy more. This is a pretty standard way for companies to raise a lot of cash. And guess what? They took it. The underwriters fully exercised that option to buy even more shares. This shows a strong confidence from the investment bank in the company's stock. They then officially closed this entire offering on the 12th of December 2025, settling everything up. This influx of cash is usually a sign that the company has plans to expand, invest, or maybe pay down some debts. But that is not all. On that same day, the 10th of December, the company made another big splash. Their wholly owned subsidiary Cisco Holdings, LLC, bought a company called Mortgage Contracting Services. Now this wasn't a small purchase, they paid a whopping $330 million in cash for this deal. Mortgage Contracting Services is involved in property preservation services, which sounds like they're helping to maintain and protect properties often related to foreclosures or distress situations. This acquisition shows the company is actively looking to grow its business by acquiring complementary services. It is a clear strategy to expand their reach and offerings in the mortgage and real estate services space. Remember, we talked about shares of common stock. That is what Stewart Information Services Corporation has registered and trades under the ticker symbol STC on the New York Stock Exchange. So when they're issuing and selling these shares, they are essentially giving away ownership pieces of the company for money. The fact that they're doing a registered public offering means they've gone through all the necessary hoops with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, to make sure everything is above board. This whole stock offering was done under what they call a shelf registration statement. Think of it like a pre-approved menu of offerings a company can draw from when needed. This allows them to move quickly when market conditions are favorable. And for this particular sale, they've listed it on a Form S-3, which is typically used by larger companies that have a history of reporting to the CIT streamlines, the process for adding more securities to be sold. Now, when you are dealing with big financial transactions like this, you need legal experts. In this case, Davis Polk & Wardwell LLP provided a legal opinion. This is essentially a professional judgment from a law firm stating that everything is in order from a legal standpoint for this stock sale. It is a sign of due diligence and making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. They also filed a consent, meaning they agreed to be named as experts in the filing, which is standard practice. So what is the big picture here? Stewart Information Services Corporation is clearly not sitting still. They've raised a significant amount of capital through this stock offering, and they've immediately put a large portion of that cash to work by acquiring another business. This tells us they're ambitious and looking to grow both organically through stock sales and inorganically through acquisitions. Looking at this from a Warren Buffett-style perspective, this shows a company that's willing to make bold moves. Raising equity like this can dilute existing shareholder value slightly, but it provides the fuel for growth and strategic expansion. The acquisition of Mortgage Contracting Services for $330 million suggests they see significant synergies or market opportunities in that specific area of property preservation. This could lead to better service offerings for their clients and potentially increased revenue streams for Stewart Information Services Corporation. However, there are always risks involved. Integrating a new company can be challenging, and there is no guarantee that the expected synergies will materialize. The $330 million price tag is substantial, so the performance of Mortgage Contracting Services will be closely watched. The stock offering itself means there are now more shares out there, which can sometimes put downward pressure on the stock price if the market doesn't immediately absorb the new supply with increased demand. Overall, Stewart Information Services Corporation appears to be in a growth phase. They are actively pursuing strategies to expand their market share and diversify their service offerings. The key question moving forward will be how effectively they integrate the new acquisition and how well the additional capital from the stock offering is deployed to generate long Term value for shareholders. It's a sign of a company that's taking calculated risks to position itself for future success in a competitive industry. Alright, that is our breakdown of Stewart Information Services. Corporation's latest filing. What is your take on these financial moves and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.